Jair Bolsonaro, former president of Brazil and one of the country's most controversial political figures. But beyond the headlines and fiery speeches, there's someone who's often right by his side. So who is the woman behind Bolsonaro? And what role has she played in his journey? Meet Michelle de Paula, Firmo Reinaldo, Bolsonaro's wife. She's 43, Jair is 27 years older, and they met back in 2007 when she worked in Congress as a secretary for a socialist lawmaker. Michelle's background wasn't easy. She grew up in Ceilândia, a neighborhood marked by crime and family scandals. But despite these challenges, she was determined to make her own way.
Os meus pais se separaram, eu tinha 4 anos de idade. Nós não passamos fome, mas nós passamos muita dificuldade.
After finishing high school and a short stint as a supermarket demonstrator, she stepped into politics as a parliamentary assistant, quickly carving out a respected place for herself in Brasília.
As minhas tias, aquela vida. Eu queria trabalhar, eu queria ter as minhas coisas, né?
Meanwhile, Jair was already a known figure in Brasília, both for his far-right views and, how do I put this politely, his reputation as a ladies' man. But when he set his sights on Michelle, he pulled out all the stops. While his second marriage was falling apart, Jair launched what can only be called an aggressive wooing campaign for her. First came the giant bouquet that had the whole building whispering. Then, a box with 7 pieces of lingerie. One for each day of the week, Michelle recalled. Bold move. Shocked but intrigued, she eventually gave him a chance, but only after Bolsonaro followed the rules. He had to come to Michelle's neighborhood, Ceilândia, and officially ask her family for permission to date her.
And we understood each other quickly.
Michelle already had a daughter, Leticia, and wasn't about to jump into anything lightly. But Bolsonaro pulled out the romantic stops, even writing dramatic love letters. One said, "Michelle, as long as there is water in the sea, I won't stop loving you." Cheesy? Absolutely. But apparently it worked.
We had an excellent relationship.
They entered a civil union that same year, and Jair even reversed his vasectomy for her. While Bolsonaro had 4 kids from previous marriages, Michelle had 1 daughter. Together, they share Laura, born in 2010, his 5th child, her 2nd. Jair and Michelle's official wedding happened in 2013, a glitzy event where Michelle sang Grande Amor and Bolsonaro got emotional saying, "I'm not going to say I love you because that would be superfluous." Classic Bolsonaro. But Michelle wasn't just the pretty face in a gown. From early on, Jair brought her into his political world, literally. In 2007, he hired her as a parliamentary assistant and tripled her salary. That was quickly shut down by the courts for being pure nepotism, but the message was clear. She was part of the operation, and that role only grew. In 2020, her name made headlines when journalists discovered 27 suspicious checks, totaling around 17,000 euros, deposited into her account. The money was allegedly linked to embezzled wages from ghost employees. The public started calling her Me Check Bolsonaro, a pretty brutal fall from her earlier nickname, Saint Michelle. But here's where it gets interesting. Michelle's influence in Bolsonaro's rise can't be overstated. She's deeply rooted in Brazil's evangelical movement and helped him tap into that base, which makes up about 1/3 of the population. She connected him to big-name pastors, helped shape his faith and family messaging, and even coached him on how to sound more evangelical.
Filha de Deus, temente a Deus, eu creio na justiça celestial.
Bolsonaro, who was born Catholic, leaned into this strategy hard. He joined the Social Christian Party, got baptized in the Jordan River, and added God above everyone to his slogan. The result? He quadrupled his vote count by 2014. Michelle's public image got a serious glow-up after Bolsonaro's inauguration. She wore a glamorous pink off-shoulder gown that had the press calling her the Grace Kelly of the tropics. Michelle stayed mostly behind the scenes during her husband's 2018 campaign, but by 2022, she was front and center. She fully embraced the role of the devoted Christian wife, aiming to soften Jair's harsh and often offensive reputation.
Tudo que acontece é permissão do Senhor.
Now that Bolsonaro's under house arrest facing trial for an alleged coup, the question is, will Michelle stay by his side or carve out her own path in politics? Only time will tell. Bolsonaro is often compared to Trump. 3 marriages, 5 kids, and a personal life that keeps making headlines. And here's a juicy bit. He actually cheated on his first wife with the woman who would later become his second wife. And guess what? The boomerang effect hit hard. She allegedly cheated on him right back. Now, let's take a closer look back at the scandalous chapter in Trump's life. Donald met Ivana, née Ivana Zelnichkova, in 1976.
Lady Trump, I was first wife. Excuse me. I don't know what is Melania problem. She just has to get over it.
She ended up in New York City for a modeling gig, and during a dinner with other models, Donald swooped in. He secured the group the best table in the place and joined them. Smooth move, right?
And I turned to my girlfriend and said, I have a good news and bad news. What is the good news? We're going to get a table real fast. What is the bad news? This fellow behind me is going to go and sit with us.
By Christmas, Donald asked her to go on vacation. They went to Aspen and had the most romantic time together. On New Year's Eve, Donald told her, "If you don't marry me, you'll ruin your life." Now that's the Trump we know. And despite having known each other for only a few months, Ivana agreed to marry him.
Donald always had a great head on his shoulder, and I saw the potential in it.
They tied the knot on April 9th, 1977 in New York City. And during their honeymoon in Mexico, Ivana became pregnant with their first child. On December 31, 1977, their son Donald Jr. was born. The couple went on to welcome 2 more children, Ivanka in 1981 and Eric in 1984. A picture-perfect marriage, right? But wait.
He did not know how to speak to them in the children way of thinking. So he was able to speak to them only when they came from university, when eventually was able to speak business with them.
Yeah.
You know, but otherwise he really did not know how to handle the kids.
Donald and Ivana weren't just partners in marriage, but also in business.
And I was chief executive officer, and casino really did very well. It was the most profitable hotel casino in the United States.
However, their seemingly perfect marriage hit the rocks in 1989 when Ivana discovered Donald's affair with model Marla Maples.
Did you see warning signs?
I really didn't. I really didn't.
It all happened during the family's annual holiday trip to Aspen. Ivana ran into Maples outside a restaurant, with patrons and the rest of the family watching.
We were actually standing near the restaurant, getting ready to put skis on. And I was standing there like an idiot. And Marla and Ivana were here. And there wasn't shouting, but you could obviously see there was some friction.
Turns out this affair had been going on for years.
Do you think unless the two had actually come face to face, you would have confronted that situation?
Well, it's interesting because it's possible that, maybe it would still be going on. I'm not sure.
The affair made headlines, and in March 1990, Ivana officially filed for divorce, resigning from the Trump Organization a few months later.
In my case, it was just so clear, and the trust was broken so badly that I knew that it was just no way it could be patched.
Maples and Donald continued to date on and off, and in 1993, she became pregnant with their first child. Their daughter Tiffany was born on October 13, which Maples later called the greatest unplanned surprise of all. Despite Donald previously saying he had no plans to get married again, the couple decided to tie the knot shortly after Tiffany's birth, on December 20th, 1993.
We really anticipated getting married and having a baby, not having a baby and getting married.
So why didn't you marry her right away when you found out she was pregnant? Why did you wait?
Indecision.
The pair remained married for 3 years before separating in May 1997. Maples later explained the split, saying that they differed on how they viewed the world and how they wanted to raise their child.
So I think you always hope in a marriage that you can bring out the best in each other. But after many years, we realized we weren't.
However, rumors swirl that the real cause was Maples cheating on Trump with his bodyguard, who was caught with her on a deserted beach. Probably not just having a late-night stroll. But Maples have always denied the affair, of course. But it's not all bad blood. Despite their rocky past, Donald and Marla managed to mend fences. They even managed to share an Easter celebration in April 2023. Who knew divorce could come with a side of friendly get-togethers?
He's the father of my child. I do not want to ever speak negative about it. But do we agree on everything? Absolutely not. We would be married if we still agreed on everything.
But Ivana, who passed away in 2022, clearly wasn't ready to forgive and forget.
I don't want to talk about her. She's a show girl, never achieved anything in her life.
In her 2017 memoir, Raising Trump, she didn't hold back, saying, "She actively participated in humiliating me in the media and indirectly put my kids at risk for months. I went through hell, and then I was expected to be okay with her being around my children?" Ivana's words reflected the deep hurt and betrayal she felt, a pain that her friends believe she never fully overcame. Well, who could blame Ivana?
He's free at the moment, isn't he? He's single.
Yes, he is.
Would you not like to get back together with him?
Nope.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, you would like to get back?
Nope.
So, with all this scandal and drama, who do you think was the true love of Trump's life? Let's discuss in the comments.